Okay, cool.
Hello, and welcome to A Huskies Health. I am your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. I would like to thank our sponsors at Procyon Partners. They are one of the top 50 fastest growing companies in the nation. They specialize in employee benefits, wealth management, and retirement planning. President Sean Rabinowitz is a proud supporter of our podcast network, and we love him very much. Green Street Trust International, owned and operated by Renell Jump. They specialize in tax plans for businesses large or small. They will save you money or get you a big fat return. To schedule your free strategic tax planning session today, go to www.greenstreettrust.com. Pete Finch and the Finch Law Firm is out of Bridgeport, Connecticut. If you've suffered any type of personal injury, slip and fall, maybe a car accident, maybe your mother-in-law tried to run you over with her car, maybe your wife tried to stab you, the Finch firm is for you. Pete has won legal battles all over the state of Connecticut, and he will go to war to get every dollar you deserve in compensation. So remember, always, if you're in a pinch, call Finch. Check out his website. It's thefinchfirm.com. Dynamic Human Performance, owned and operated by UConn legendary running back Andre Dixon. He trains boys and girls of all ages, of all sports. He has a new boot camp program, 7 days a week, 6 a.m. You want to get in shape? Go to Andre. It's a 5,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility. He has an athletic development program where he trains boys and girls in the sport of their choice, develops them, helps them to reach their full potential. Andre has sent boys and girls to college on scholarship, all different types of sports. So if you want to train with the best, train with Andre. www.dynamichumanperformance.com. Down south, we have Julius Williams and the Trench Mob. Julius and his team trains offensive and defensive linemen. They compete in 5-versus-5 tournaments all across the country. They were undefeated this past season, and it's done by rounds, timed, and you get points for whether you win or lose the round, offense or defense. They went on a camp circuit, showcase college camps, and I'm proud to say that every single camp the Trench Mob attended, a member was offered a full scholarship to a university, which is incredible. Julius and his team are the best of the best down south in Decatur, Georgia. To work with them, go to www.battleofthetrenches.com. And again, our newest sponsor, Luther James Insurance, owned and operated by James Whitfield. For the past 3 years, he's dedicated himself to the art of financial services. It's more than a career. It's a passion. He also does insurance policies, mainly life insurance, and he helps people with retirement planning. He helps law enforcement achieve financial stability. And the biggest thing with him is he understands retirement can be stressful. Fear of the unknown is real. Go to his website, lutherjamesinsurance.com, and he will provide you with a free quote. And now for the man of the hour, former UConn star Chris Bellamy, who is now a mental health advocate, champion for fathers' rights, developed a curriculum and workshop to help educate fathers and we always love speaking with him, and he's received a lot of feedback, so we're excited to talk with him.
Happy to be here, Cully. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you taking the time at the late hour. So several people asked, the BYU quarterback situation kind of blew up last week, and we received several comments and questions about it. In this day and age, basically, I know BYU is different. They're Mormons. They respect the religion. There's an honor code they have to adhere to. The quarterback, Jake, how do you say his last name?
Yeah, something with a Z or something like that.
Rescliff.
Yeah, Rescliff. That's
what it's Retzlaff. Jake Retzlaff.
Yeah.
So he performed admirably last year, leading them to a 11-2 record. Okay, so he was suspended by the school. There was a civil lawsuit of sexual assault. However, the criminal investigation yielded nothing. And he voluntarily went to the dean and told them what happened, told them that he had sex, and BYU suspended him for the season. And this is his senior year. It basically was because it was a violation of the school honor code. Yeah. So he missed the transfer portal. So, he was they were all frustrated that they had time to go through this, and it happens, the week before training camp. So that was part of the issue. But, a lot of people asked for your thoughts on suspension for the entire season, premarital sex violating the honor code, and him obviously, trying to do the right thing and self-reporting. Would that have some effect on how he would be punished? So I know that's a lot, but people just really wanted your opinion on this.
Yeah, I can take it piece by piece. So to my understanding, the self-reporting was to clear his name of the sexual assault allegations, right? Like he was trying to essentially
to get ahead of it. Yeah.
Exactly. So here, this is the interesting part, because BYU's in a pickle, because clearly what's happening now is they have their standards, right? They have their honor code. It's there for a reason. People go to BYU for a reason, right? Because they respect their religion and they believe in it, and they adhere.
And there's non-Mormons that go there as well.
Exactly. So I have a lot of thoughts. So the first thought is, by BYU suspending him, they should have known exactly what was about to happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you're and you know what though? I respect BYU for doing it anyway. Yeah, it's like, if that's what you stand for, then stand for it, right? Like I've told this story a number of times, but I'll never forget the time when I failed my Husky run. So I failed my Husky run, and I failed it with like a 99.8 or something like that. And for those who are listening, the Husky run was a conditioning test we had to take before the season started. And if you passed it, you had to, or if you passed it, you were good. If you didn't pass it, you had to wake up early at 6 a.m. because what you not passing with you not passing it, the coaches were to assume that you were not in shape. So I scheduled a meeting with Edsel, and I had this whole plan worked out. I'm like a 99.8 versus 100%. Like, I'm in shape. right? Like I failed it by 0.2. So I'm like, that doesn't mean I'm not in shape. If I failed it with a 60, then that would mean I'm not in shape, right?
Correct.
This
Yes.
is my whole thought process. So I set time with him, and I go in there with my argument. I'm like, Coach, I'm like, listen, man. Now, mind you, this is the second time I failed it in a row. So I'm
But
like,
didn't I remember as a freshman they gave us a reprieve if we failed,
correct,
right?
correct,
Right.
correct,
Yeah.
correct. So I got that right, but then I still failed it, right? So
Yeah.
then I go to him. I'm like, Coach, like I was like, I understand I failed, but the reason why I would have to wake up for 6 a.m. is because it's to be assumed that I'm not in shape. I'm like, by me failing with a 99.8, I said,
And you're competing for a job.
yeah, I'm like, how does that no, I said I fell with a 99.8. I'm like, so does that mean does that mean I'm not in shape? And he's like,
That's a good question. That's a good way to ask it.
but his answer was better. He said, no, it means you failed the test. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
That's what he said.
It's like, no, it means you failed the test. So
That
I'll
was
see
the
you
end of it.
tomorrow morning.
Oh
And
my
it's like, and I was obviously livid, but as an adult, I respect it. Like, that's the standard.
That's what's expected.
That's the standard. I'm not moving the line for you. That's the standard. You meet it or you don't. So I respect BYU for standing on that and standing on their principles and their morals and their standards. I respect that. Now, that being said, do I agree? I agree that something had to be done because if everybody's held to the same expectation, he's no different, right? Now,
Absolutely.
you suspend them, you're basically opening up a quarterback job, right? Like, I don't personally believe that no one commits premarital sex that goes to BYU. I don't think that, but I think the kid was being a kid, whether it's right or wrong, right? Like, I'm not one to debate if he was right or wrong. Fortunately, for the transfer portal, he's able to go find another job. Now, but did he miss I didn't know that part. Did he miss the deadline?
He missed the deadline, but he and his management found there's a loophole in the transfer portal. Basically, you can unenroll from a school and enroll in another school that will take you. So he unenrolled from BYU, dropped all his, fall classes, whatever, and he ended up being picked up by Tulane. Tulane offered to take him. He'll most likely start for them, and he'll get NIL money. I think that was the other thing BYU was lax on. I don't believe they were giving a ton of NIL money because of everything.
I mean, he's going to be fine. It sounds like they dropped the case. I just read that. So he's going to be able to play. He's going to be fine. You asked me a ton of questions, Chloe. I don't know if I answered all of them.
Well, I mean, going right to the kid's a senior, a full year suspension. My thought was, could they have done something different? Could they have done like a 4-game suspension? Could they have done, mandatory sex ed training, something like that, sensitivity training, something along those lines? I mean, the
thing I would want to know is, like, what's the varying degrees of suspension?
Exactly.
Right. Like, if you
like they went right to it.
Like, is that the scarlet letter? It's like it doesn't get any worse than that. Yes. I don't know if that's the case, then cool. But
yeah,
they're gonna struggle if anybody you suspend for. I mean, hell, you suspend somebody for 4 games, they may transfer. You know what I mean? So
exactly. And it'll be tougher. My thought was it's going to be tougher for them to get recruits to go there because
I I don't know that, Cully, because BYU's been around forever.
Well, that's true. Very true.
Right. Like they have Hall of Famers that played there. So it's like, I don't know that they're going to struggle there. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know that because again, in their defense, like their standards are their standards.
They've always been that way.
They've
Correct.
always been that way. So if you come here, you're agreeing to those standards, you know,
Right.
Nobody's essentially what they're saying is nobody's bigger than the program.
And that's true. And that's kind of the same thing Tennessee did with their situation at quarterback with Nico Collins, who just decided not to show up for the spring game and wanted leverage. And Josh Heupel came out and said, "Hey, no one's bigger than the program."
But
you don't want him back.
That's when the lines get blurred, right? Because that's a pro move, right? Exactly. Like that's a pro move. Yeah. That's holding out OTAs, right? Yep. That's a pro move, and it's like they're gonna. I mean, I don't. It's like they have leverage, but they don't. You know what I mean? Like they have leverage, but they don't. Like Etzel used to say all the time. You know, summer workouts are voluntary. But so is playing time. Right? Like that's what he used to say. So regardless of how much leverage we think we have, they don't have to put you on that field.
They sure don't.
They don't have to put you on that field. So but it's become a very cutthroat business as a result. Like it's a very cutthroat business because it's only so long that a coach cannot put you on the field because he has a job, right? And
he's got to win.
They're not giving a lot of rope. They're not giving a lot of rope. So yeah, I don't. My personal belief on that suspension, I don't think it was just, but I'm also not of Mormon faith, so I don't feel like I'm a credible person to speak on what's just and what's not just in that faith. Right. But I know that no matter, you might as well just kick them off the team. Just make, but but I mean, maybe that is the offense. If you have premarital sex, maybe the offense is a 1-year suspension. So if he was a freshman or if he was a senior, it doesn't matter. It's 1 year. So
correct. And yeah, I mean, he is going to be okay because of it. He was able to unenroll and enroll in Tulane, and he'll start for them, and I'm sure he'll do well for them.
The funny thing,
a tough situation.
That's an old school tactic. Like that's like pre-NIL tactic. That's what Big Spence did. You remember Justin Spence?
Yeah, he went to IUP.
Yeah, he unenrolled, which I remember when he did that. He was my roommate at the time, and I just came back to my room, and there was a note on the desk. He was like, "Man, I had to get up out of here, bro. I'll call you later." Like that was it. My room was clear.
It was gone.
He was gone. Like he said, "I had to get up out of here, bro. I'll call you later." Like that was the whole message, And I later learned that he unenrolled. Which, dude, I was so brainwashed as a student. I didn't even know we could go do that. Not that I would have. Like I thought everything had to go through Mike Allen and Vernon Percy. Like I didn't know we could go speak with general population. You know what I mean? Like the resources that general population had. I didn't know we can go do that. So when he did that, I'm like, oh shit! Like I didn't know you can just unenroll yourself and then go enroll somewhere else. So, but yeah,
I didn't even know like anyone else would want us. That was the other thing. You're so brainwashed, like you wouldn't think anyone else would want you.
But that's why he went back home. He went to IUP, and because they was heavily recruiting him. Him and Trent went there.
Trent Jones,
Yep, they both went there. Those are my guys till we came in together.
Yes. I remember Trent played as a freshman, and
so that's the case in point. So the transfer portal, like had Trent stayed, he would have been the starting safety because
absolutely.
Meyer got jammed up, and then
Del Salva left.
Yep, Del Salva left. Then MJ came, who was younger, but Trent would have been playing, and Trent was good. And same thing with Spence. Spence, now it's crazy because Spence was a starting fullback, but wasn't playing because of the offense that we ran. We were running single back.
Correct.
So he was a little upset about that too. So, but you see the career Dion had, like and Spence was good. Spence was as good, if you ask me. Like
The
he was
mini bust.
good. Yeah. So anyway, like those are the type of things that happen when you prematurely, I'll put that in air quotes, prematurely enter the transfer portal. Like the BYU situation, he didn't have a choice. He had to go somewhere. So
Yeah,
and Tulane's not bad. Tulane, that's not a bad move.
No, they've been okay the last couple of years. I think they're in the American, and they've done very well.
Mm-hmm.
Several people asked, because we talked about this. This is the first season universities can pay players, and they were curious to know your thoughts. Do you think that dissension could develop in the locker room if it's known how much someone's being paid, and this guy's being paid this and that, and they find out someone's being paid $100,000, this guy's getting paid $10,000? Do you think that will develop dissension within the locker room between?
Short answer is yes. Right. Short answer is yes. I think there has to be some type of, this is going to sound like more tongue in cheek, but it has to be some type of meritocracy with players, right? So it's like for instance, this is not the best example, but you remember, Cully, when we played on Saturdays, and if you played 40 snaps or more, you went to the pool on Sunday.
If
you didn't, you ran, right? Yeah. So I think they're obviously not all players are created equal, but I think there needs to be some type of band,
exactly.
like if you're a letter winner or something, I don't know. Like, I don't know how you want to do it, but if you contribute, or everybody should have a base and then incentives.
Exactly.
That would actually, that's probably the fairest way to do it.
To fit it.
And that way you minimize the divide, the wedge that money will create between the team.
Yeah.
So you have a base and it's all incentives after that.
That's the best way they should do it. And it's too bad that the NCAA didn't step in and legislate something like that. They just threw it at the schools and say, this is how much you can spend. You guys figure it out. It's crazy that they did it that way, but they just keep getting sued and they lose.
And that's the thing too, dude. It's like, hey, I used to always say, right, when I was I'm still a salesperson, but when I first started out in sales, I was like, sales is sales, right? Whether you're selling toilet paper or you're selling life insurance, it's still sales. The question is, if the effort that you put forth will compensate you properly. So sometimes those sales is sales is sales. Those football is football. What I'm curious, because there's no regulation, is the comp structures for teams.
Exactly.
Meaning, I'm 1,000-yard rusher over here, and hypothetically, I make 200,000. 1,000-yard rusher over there makes $500,000. You know what I mean? So,
I didn't even think of that. Right.
That's where things are going to get crazy. And that's why.
Yeah.
I would have liked for it to be regulated, like, or standard, but I think the comp package is not, but how crazy is that, dude? People are going to colleges and looking at the comp package.
They are. I didn't even know this. There's no longer signing of national letters of intent.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I couldn't believe that. That's off the table. They sign financial aid agreements, and then they sign what's attached to it is the compensation agreement from the school. And then on top of that, NIL money. So there's 3 different things they're signing.
The good thing about this is there's some good and there's some bad, right? Obviously.
Absolutely.
The good thing about this is whether we want to admit it or not, teaching these kids some life skills. Like they're learning, whether it's them personally or on behalf of them, they're learning negotiation tactics, right? They're learning how to vet opportunities, like how to do their research and what makes the most sense for them. Now they're vetting the school for more than just TV time, opportunity to play, maybe sponsorship deals. Forget NIL and all of that. Like they're looking at, like, okay, so I do all of this. I come here. What's my base salary, right? What's your comp structure? So that will prepare them, because the reality is this: there's a lot of kids that will never make this type of money again.
Absolutely.
They'll never make this type of money.
This is their 4 years to get it.
Yeah. So and also the ripple effect. I think there's going to be some people that crash and burn afterwards, because we talk about the mental health side for a second. You think about what you dealt with, what I dealt with in terms of identity after the game, who you are and all these things. It's like, bro, we were broke in college, right? So we were just dealing with the playing mindset, like
we were
trying
just waiting for that per diem on Thursday,
right? Per diem. Like, one thing I will say, we did get paid for the bowl game. We got a couple dollars.
Yes, you guys got some swag. You guys got some good stuff for the bowl game.
We got some cash. We got some stuff. We got some gifts. So anyway, but what my point is, dude, the players will now have to reconcile the thoughts and feelings around no longer being a premier athlete, right? Provided they don't go, because we know most of them won't go to the NFL statistically.
They have not, yes.
So now you have to deal with, okay, I was the guy in Division I football program, whatever. And then I was making $175,000 a year. I can't go nowhere and make this type of money right now.
Exactly.
No, and like, God forbid they transferred multiple times and they didn't graduate. Now the opportunities that you have are even more limited, So I just think about that, man, and I just hope there's not, like, there's always going to be, and not to mention, this is all overlaid by CTE, right? Like, that whole situation.
Injuries and CTE.
Yeah, so, and what I don't know, maybe you know this, Cully, and maybe you don't, but what I don't know is, what is there, like, are schools now preemptively taking insurance policies out on these kids? Because they're investments now. Dude, this is crazy. I just thought about this. They're technically key employees.
And they're not being labeled as such, which is why certain schools like Dartmouth, their basketball team, tried to unionize, because they want to negotiate. They want to negotiate practice time. They want to negotiate, like you just said, health insurance, benefits, things like that. If you're hurt on the field, yes, you are covered by health insurance from the university.
Yeah, but are you still getting paid?
Yes, you're still. That's a good question. That is a good question. I don't know that. If you get injured and you miss a significant amount of time, 4 games or whatever, are you still getting paid week to week? That I don't know.
So what I'm interested in? I would love to hear from some of your sponsors who are in financial services, like Roe with Green Street Trust. Yeah. Like, I'll be curious to know if these kids can get, like, retirement accounts set up, because they're technically working. Or, like, another question before that is, are they W-2 employees? Because if they're W-2 employees, they can contribute to. Well, if they're W-2 employees, are they eligible for, like, say UConn? Are they eligible for the state's retirement plan?
Exactly.
Because technically they work for the state,
They technically are not W-2 employees. They're 1099 independent contractors.
Awesome. So I would be curious to know who's coming in setting up, like, SEPs, right? Like, I forgot the acronym, but basically it's self-employed
right
retirement plans. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's coming in doing that? Because they can start early. And
well, absolutely, and that was one of the other questions to you. Several people asked this. Do you think now, with obviously athletes being paid, that the schools have to take responsibility and bring in people from financial services, financial planners, retirement planners, and talk to them about investing their money so it grows over time?
I don't think they need to do that. I think they need to go a step further, because these kids aren't going to hear that, right? Like, I'm speaking generally, but what they should do, which is why I'm asking about these SEPs, right? So, for instance, if they got dude, what's crazy is this used to be the number. I don't know if it still is, but with the individual retirement account, like a self-employed retirement account, I want to say you can put up to $20,000 into it every year. Whereas if you and I had our traditional Roth or IRA, we could only put, I think it just got up to 9,000. I think I put in there something like that. So what I would do if I was running these programs, I would mandate like a portion of their income goes to that retirement plan, period. Like, okay, you make 100,000. Well, guess what? You're actually taking home 80, right? Correct. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you got taxes and all that. Because the other thing is, if they're 1099, dude, that means they're responsible for their own taxes.
Their own taxes, yes.
And what you don't want to see is some of these kids going to jail for unpaid taxes.
The IRS, yeah.
3-4 years down the line, So I think there needs to be mandates in place that set these kids up for the future. 1, 2, tax professionals that are hired by the universities that tuck away a piece of that money, So It's like, hey, we're going to cover, because the other thing is not everybody's going to be in the same tax bracket. So how they're being taxed can vary, right? Some people, and again, not UConn necessarily, but some of these bigger schools, these kids are making upwards of $1 million. Guess what? They're getting taxed at 39%, bro. Like, you make $1 million, that's $390,000. If you're blowing that money, you're going to jail in 4 years, right? Like, if you don't have a plan for that, like, there needs to be. Forget bringing people in to speak. Part of that contract needs to be, this portion is going to your retirement. This portion is going to your taxes, period. Right. And it's mandated. Like, that's the only way to assure it doesn't get screwed up. Because the other thing too, not every one of these kids have teams, right? Not every one of these kids have, some of these kids' parents, they don't know. Like, dude, when I went to college, the most my mom did for my college education was fill out a FAFSA, right? She filled out a FAFSA and she brought me a care package that first year. And then from that point on, I was responsible for everything that had to do with my education, whether it was making sure I was still on scholarship, making sure she never asked one time my grades were, and I'm not knocking her. I love her. But that was beyond her level of expertise. Yeah, like she didn't know. Like, my mom was a CNA for 35 years, and shout out to all the CNAs, but she didn't understand like what that meant. So I had to figure it out, So a lot of these kids will be in that situation, and they're not going to have professionals to call. Like, so the university needs to provide that for them to assure that they're going to be set up for the future,
Right. And like I said, this has been the last 2 years, the least amount of juniors have declared for the NFL draft. And, I spoke with Jamal Lundy. He is trying to do the same thing. He's training top athletes, and then he wants to try to represent them in NIL negotiations or find out payment negotiations. And he actually called me because he had a couple kids offer. He's like, so how does that work? How do I find out when we're talking money or how much they're going to get paid?
I'm gonna give you some advice, Lundy. Pass that off. All right, let somebody else handle that.
I said, you're not an agent. I said, if you want to bring an agent on your team and work out a percentage that you get from everyone you bring them, I would do that. I would not try to jump into these negotiations
Listen,
yourself.
man, I learned a long time ago the hard way. There's a lot of ways to make money. Doesn't mean every way is for you. Like,
exactly.
like, stay in your lane, dude. Like, if you're good at training, train, right, and be successful at it. Like, let these kids get professionals. That's all the person that you're referring to them to. That's all they do is negotiate contracts. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
people don't understand, man. Like, you've been in sales, Kelly. Like, negotiations it's an art and a science at the same time.
Very
Like,
much so.
it's an art and a science at the same time. That's why I love selling. I love negotiating. I love
The best part of it.
shout out to my brother-in-law. Actually, I won't say too much, but shout out to my brother-in-law Kosh. He was in some intense negotiations recently, and I was walking him through it. But I love the that part. So it's like you got to have somebody that knows it, that lives it. You know what I mean? You can't be training at 3 and negotiating at 3:30. Like
It doesn't work like that.
It's not serving the end client, best. So shout out to them.
Are you guys definitely? I didn't know if you guys were set. Are you gonna go to the home games this year?
Yeah, we bought the suite again. Yeah, we renewed it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we got 6 at home. Our schedule's weak though, dude. Like we talked about this already.
I was so despondent with the schedule, and we talked about how they got to bring some bigger names in, and I understand they're playing teams they can compete with and teams that they can beat in theory, but if Duke's the biggest game that's coming at home, Duke and Air Force, I'm glad that we renewed with BC, and hopefully BC comes to the rent next year. But it's just pivotal the next couple of years financially getting into a conference because, I know they touted raising $50 million. I don't know where that came from, but I hope it helps. But I just don't see us surviving.
What was necessary to enter a conference?
No, I mean, no, they raised it for the newly Husky Athletic Fund that
for the players. Yeah.
To pay the players. So that's how they're going to do things. Any early predictions? Camps opening up, things are getting it's coming. The season's right on the cusp.
Yeah, my thought 8 wins would be good, but in my opinion, like we had 9. Were we 8-4 last year?
We were 8-4 going into the bowl game,
and then 9-4 at the end of the season.
We finished 9-4. Yeah, I
would like to see 9 again, man. I think
agree.
I think they go 9. If they go 9, that's solid, dude. That's 3 out of Moore's 4 years running bowls, right? And I mean, the bowl standards are pretty low now, but still,
but it speaks volumes. The biggest hurdle for us, from what I've heard, is attendance. We have to try to get over 30,000 average wise throughout our home games.
Dude, it's not a bad idea. I just thought about this. What if we have? This is crazy. What if we had like a performer at halftime? Like
someone else brought that up.
Some hot artists, not Kendrick Lamar or Jay-Z. Like, we can't afford that, but somebody that people would want to come see. Like, I don't know.
Someone brought that up.
Yeah, like that, and that will get people in the seats.
That'll draw.
Like, again, somebody they can afford. Because paying somebody $50,000 for 20 minutes, like, we can probably find some takers. You know what I'm saying? We can probably find some takers that would draw a crowd too. Like if I'm the marketing team, that's what I'm talking about. Like that's what
Yes.
I'm trying to put together
Yes.
because that money, that's just basically that's the advertising budget. Like we're gonna promote the hell out this concert, and then we're gonna have somebody perform every halftime. Again, not 50,000, but some people that have a following, and that people are gonna want to come see, and if they get to watch a game too, then icing on the cake. So
if we average over 30,000 for this year, and we have the same success with 9 or 10 games, with winning that will propel us.
What were we about 22,000 last year?
Yeah, we were low. We only had 2 games over 30,000.
Mm-hmm.
It was Merrimack, and I can't remember the other one. It was an odd one.
I was guessing Merrimack. Okay.
I didn't believe it either. It was Merrimack, but yeah, it was Merrimack, and it was one other. Those were the only 2 over 30. But I think
Central should be a good showing. They're right down the street. That should be a good showing.
Yeah, that's great for the home opener. That should draw well. And then we're at Delaware, we're at Syracuse, and then we're back against Ball State. So, I was just curious, are you going, or you probably can't, but they're having the golf tournament this Monday. I didn't know if you were going.
I didn't even hear about it.
I didn't hear about it either.
I wasn't emailed about it, but I didn't see it. I didn't know.
It's more for basketball, from Burton told me, but he said to try to get people to go. But I just asked him, like, is the money going towards basketball or not? Because I know they're doing revenue sharing, but
Edsel used to have one.
He did. I know.
I went 1 year to that. I only went 1 year, but we did that once.
And I think they need to do. They have to.
I'm surprised Mora doesn't have something.
Yeah. No, we talked about that. We were saying that.
Who needs to have it is Baylock.
Oh, he could get it done in a heartbeat.
Yeah, Baylock is the one that needs to have it. Yeah.
But like for you guys and myself, the guys who come back for the home games, they have to. Like I was talking to Phil Hunt, I like put a 10 up, have something for the alumni coming back.
They have an alumni 10 normally, don't they?
No, they don't. Because I asked to set up one when I came out a couple times. It's not for just alumni. You have to be, I think,
a donor, right? Or
VIP
like
members or donors to Store Central. Something like that. But I said, if you want to increase donations, you have to give something back to people. You can't just ask people, I need 10 grand. Provide them something.
Give context.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing I said. I said, without that, you just don't have anything. So, but we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a good year. I'm happy. We got a lot of good transfers. I'm happy Mike Burton's son came in. I think he'll do a good job. I think that tight end position will be great. The running backs, I think, are the best of the group.
Yeah, those guys are tough.
Yeah, and defensively,
Rosa a senior or did he graduate?
Who?
Rosa.
Oh no, he's a junior. He'll still be there.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
did he redshirt? Oh, he redshirted.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. Sure. He's a junior, but it's going to depend. It'll be Cam, Mel.
Cam's my guy.
I love Cam.
I like how he runs.
He runs hard. It's going to depend on the transfer they brought in from Eastern Illinois, and it's funny, they only have 4 or 5 running backs on the roster, which is kind of light for the carries that you get in camp. They have a transfer from Eastern Illinois, MJ Flowers, who is he's a bigger back. He's supposed to be pretty good. Then they have Victor Rosa, and then they have the only freshman they brought in is from Sweden. So I was like, we're recruiting. It was Switzerland or Sweden. I was like, so we're going to Sweden or Switzerland for recruiting? That's got to be
That's very
interesting.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I didn't know they played football over there. Call me
Yeah,
ignorant.
it blows my mind. It blows my mind. But thank you for your insight and answering the questions and the feedback. You always get a lot, and it's good. I read an article. A majority of these teams are having sports psychologists on
Good.
staff
Good.
and doing checks and making sure things are going okay, and they're traveling with the team as well.
They need
So
to. Yeah.
they do, and that was really good to read. That that's one thing they are investing in, and we are UConn as well. So I'm excited for that. But thank you again, and for doing the show. I will talk with you soon. I just have to thank Fresh himself, Ned Von Young, Fresh Fold Laundry Company, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, high-end laundry service. They now offer a pickup service, and I was with them today. I could not believe it. It's a 20-mile radius. If you live within 20 miles of Fresh Fold Laundry Co., you put your clothes out, you book it online, someone comes out, picks up your clothes, they wash, dry, fold them, lightning speed records, and then you can come get them when they're done. They have an online subscription model, weekly or bi-weekly, and they also have deals for college students coming back. Take a look at their website. They have many, many deals for college students. So go to freshfold-laundry.com. For Chris Bellamy, former UConn star running back, mental health advocate, champion for father rights and education, I am Steve Culley, the best podcast host in the universe. Remember, life gives you lemons. Don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges, throw them right back at life.